I'd like to show you a couple different ways to add a person into the tree. So here I am on Mary Ella Williams' page, and down below under family members, she doesn't have any children listed with her. But when I go up to her record hints, I actually see a marriage certificate that applies to her daughter and a birth certificate that applies to her son. So I'm going to teach you two different ways of how to do this. The first way, I'm going to teach you how to just click on Add Child, and it will bring up this box to where I can start filling out the information here. So Mary Ruth is the first name, Richard Son is the last name. She is a female. She is deceased, and now I can enter the date of birth, December of 1915. And I didn't have to write out the whole date because it actually will do it for me, and I will choose the one with the calendar, which means it will be the standardized date. And then I'll come over here to the birthplace and type in where I believe she was born, Pennsylvania, Virginia. And as I started typing in the drop-down menu, it brought up the correct one, and I'll just click on it, and now that it has a marker next to it and a calendar, you know they're both standardized. Now the death date I do have as this right here, but I don't have a place right now that I'm familiar with, so I won't be adding that in. So right now I'm just going to click on Next. And by default, it now tries to go out and find duplicates. And so I'll just kind of skim through here. This Mary was born in Georgia. Here we have a Virginia, different place with a different last name, different parents. And so as I scroll down here, I do not see any that look like they are duplicates in the system. So instead of choosing the possible matches they found for me, I'm going to say, let's create a new person here. And so as I did that, she's now been added. Well, now let's go add a child a different way. If I come up here and click on record hints, and let's go for this birth certificate of her son, I can come over here, and I've already looked this over, so I know this really is her son. I'm going to click on Review and Attach. And as I do this, because he's not already in the system, it actually says Add right next to his name. And I'm going to click on Add. You can see that it fills out all of this information for me, but I can actually go in and standardize this information right now by left-clicking behind 1912, and on my keyboard I'll hit the space bar. It brings down a drop-down menu, and I will choose from that. And then I'll do the same thing for the birthplace. I'll left-click, hit my space bar on my keyboard here, and then I'll click the correct one. From here I mark that he is deceased, and I actually found a certificate with his death date on it and place, so I will put this in, and I will choose from the drop-down menu. Then I will put the place, Virginia, and choose that from the drop-down menu. And it didn't come up with any duplicates, so I will say Create New Person. So by default it tries to look for those duplicates, but it evidently didn't come up with any. You can see that it added William Davis Richardson to my tree. This is my tree up here on the right-hand side, and here's the birth certificate on the left-hand side. So now I need to attach this certificate to him. I'll do that by putting a reason statement in as to why I'm attaching the source, that it is providing evidence of his birth date and place and his parents. And then I will click on Attach. I can do the same thing with his parents. I can click on Compare. And on here, I would put, instead of his, I would put of child's or of son's birth date and place, and get rid of parents. Just put a period there and attach it. And I can do the same thing to his mother and attach it. So now it's attached to all three. The best way to get back to the personal detail page is coming up here and clicking on the person's name. Instead of going up here to where if these were dark arrows and clicking that back arrow, that doesn't refresh the page. So if I come down here and click on her name, it actually refreshes all the information. So now that the children will now show up on her page. As I scroll down, you'll be able to see her two new children with two different methods that I use to attach them both.